Looks like I'm live. It's a little while since I've done this, and so I'd love to hear from you in the comments whether you can hear me clearly and see me. I've got my cup of tea, and I am so happy to be connecting with you. There's nothing like a live stream to feel like we are both human beings, and I'm just here to chat. So I'm particularly excited about the topic of today's live stream because I know that there are going to be a few people watching this live stream either live or in the recording afterwards who are right on the edge of learning to play the harp, either thinking about taking that step or maybe you've just started and you need a bit of encouragement. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm so excited because learning to play the harp as an adult was a huge step for me and a really big and positive thing in my life. And I'm so excited that that could be the same for you. So I'm just going to keep on checking in with the comments because I would love to hear your questions about what could be holding you back from getting started with the harp. Is there anything, if you're already starting, is there anything that you're a little concerned about or you want a bit of input on? I'm here. I'm going to be sitting with you for a few minutes now, and you can use me to answer whatever questions are on your mind about this beginning of learning to play the harp. So I'm happy to demonstrate things. I'm happy to help you in whatever way I can. And then I'm also going to be telling you about the new beginner program that I've just launched, and that could be a good fit for some of you. And the launch bonus is ending tomorrow. So I'll explain that a little bit more to you a little way on, so that you don't miss out on your chance to get that launch bonus if this program's right for you. But mostly I'm just here to answer your questions. So let's see. Okay, I see people are asking some questions, which is great. I assume you can hear me and that we're doing fine. Please let me know in the comments. It's always such a strange thing when you start a live stream and you just got to start talking to the camera and hope that people can see and hear you, because I don't have any way of checking. Oh, good. Katerina says, I can hear you. Yay, thank you. You're allaying my fears. Okay, and oh, James Tannis, hi! It's so nice to see some names of students that I've had along the way, and I know Bev is here in the comments too. Wonderful. Deepa Roshni says, wow, my dream. Is it your dream to play the harp? Oh, it was my dream for quite a few years before I got started. And I know for a lot of people, it can be a dream for a long time because it's not something that's so easy to just get a harp and get started, especially as a child. Maybe your parents don't want to invest in a harp or there's no harp teacher around you. Oh, Croatia for him. I think that's my brother-in-law, Slaven. Nice to see you, Slaven. Oh, Rebecca Jackson. Oh, so lovely to see all your names. So I'm gonna. Oh, okay, there we go. What would you demo good left hand positioning? Okay, I'm gonna do that, James. That's great. Okay, and I see, yeah, there's some good questions coming in. So I think I'm just going to get started and start answering some of these questions of yours. But just know that I'm excited to be here, and I could keep on going, just calling out all the names in the live stream because I recognize so many of you. But either way, it's just I'm glad to be here. Sorry about the lighting change there. Okay, so I'm going to go back and look at some of the comments from people in the chat. Okay, so Rebecca Sims, I'm just going to answer your question number 2 first, Rebecca. How do I deal with toughing my fingers while learning? I think I remember you saying to only practice 15-minute chunks to develop the pads of your fingers. Okay, so that's a good question. So I think what you're talking about is getting the tips of your fingers kind of strong enough. Oh, do you see the cat in the background there? That's Jade. She's very fluffy and she seems to be excited about the plant in the background there. So yes, I think there's this thing that happens with some of us when we first start learning to play the harp, that we get so excited and we just love the sound of the harp and we just play and play and play and play, and we can cause ourselves some blisters or some tenderness on the ends of our fingers. And I think that's something that comes with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and you're going to recover from that. The downside of it is that it just means you have to kind of hold back in your playing for a little while as the skin of your fingers kind of recovers. So it's not the end of the world, but yes, I do generally recommend that you do kind of shorter sessions when you're first starting, when you're practicing, just because you haven't built up the stamina, not only in the tips of your fingers, but also in the rest of your body when you're learning good technique in the beginning. For example, we want to be holding our elbows away from our body, and in the beginning, your shoulders will get really tired, and you'll find yourself kind of sacrificing your technique because you don't have the stamina to keep it up. And it's better if you can have the self-control to practice in shorter sessions, even if it's going to be multiple times a day if you're super excited, because then you can keep up with what you're learning with your technique. And yes, your fingers will also toughen up as you go. But that depends on the type of harp, the type of strings. Like the other harp that I have, my Ogden, from Line and Healy, that has gut strings and a much higher tension strings. So I really do need kind of like a bit of tougher skin on my fingers. Whereas this one, my Jolie Hybrid, has a medium to lower, like a medium tension strings, but it's significantly lower. And I feel like with that, I don't need as much toughness on the tips of my fingers. So it's also going to depend on the harp that you're learning on. But it's not the end of the world if you practice for an extra long session every now and then, but it's just something to look out for, that you don't completely throw technique out of the window for the first year of playing, because then you're going to have a lot of bad habits to kind of break and fix. And it's nice if you can start with good habits rather. Okay, and Max says, been playing for almost a year, loving your courses, yay. Andreas said, left hand is holding me back. Tell me a little bit more about that. Maybe I can give you some tips there. Let's see. Oh yes, James said, would you please demo good left hand positioning, and what should the elbow distance from the harp be? Okay, so the way I describe, Andreas says he's also from Croatia. That's cool. The way I describe the position of the arms in relation to the harp, I always talk about the elbows being away from your body, and that's partly just so that you can have movement without it being like right up against your body. But it's also to do with setting up your arm in a good position so that your fingers can pluck in the right motion. So if our arms are right up against our body, we're more likely to have our forearms be more vertical and not so much horizontal. And then what's likely to happen is that our fingers will pluck away from the strings like this. And that's what we call, well, Carrie, my fellow teacher here at Learning the Harp, she calls that curly fries. We want French fries and not curly fries, because that isn't good for, it builds up tension on our hands, and also it doesn't allow us to get a good full tone out of the harp. So we want to be plucking down into our palm. And just think about it, if you have the strings of your harp here and you're trying to pluck down into your palm, you're kind of plucking downwards on the strings and you're not getting a good sound. So if I try to pluck down into my palm, it's kind of hard to get a good sound. And so I end up plucking away from the strings like this, and that's not good for building up tension or getting a good sound. So that's why we move our elbow away from our body. So let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm moving my elbow away from my body, and that allows me to have my wrist in more of a neutral position, either like flat or a slight valley. We're not wanting a heel because that's also not good for getting a good sound and being relaxed when we're playing. And so then I'm able to pluck down into my palm, but still get a good sound. So that's what we're looking for with our left hand. And it's really the same thing with the right hand. But I don't like to say a particular angle or a particular place, because it's also going to be affected by the height of your harp, because all of these things affect the angle, right? But that's the concept behind it. All right. So let me see where we are. Okay, what is the best way to cross over and cross under when going up or down the harp without having your fingers trip over each other along the way? That's from Denise. Okay, so fingers tripping over each other when you're crossing over and under can often be because you don't have quite the right hand position, or your fingers aren't in quite the right position in the first place. So all of these things kind of affect each other, because if our hand position is like this, if we try to cross under, so this is crossing over and under is something that we do so that we can play a series of notes in a row without having to take the hands off the strings. So imagine we played and then we want to be able to have, a long series of notes that are smooth. I cross under. Okay, so. But what you'll notice is that when I'm crossing under, I'm placing my fourth finger quite low compared to my thumb so that they're not stumbling over each other. If I had this kind of hand position, it would also encourage me to make curly fries instead of French fries, like Carrie says. And then where do I cross under? It's going to be difficult to cross under over there because they're kind of in a similar place. And it's also going to cause me to curl these fingers up more. I've even had people who have this kind of hand position and then they try to cross on top over here, which is not what we want. Instead, we want to have a nice height difference between the thumb at the top, the fingers lower down, and then we can place our fourth finger or whichever finger you're crossing over with. And it has its own place. And the same with crossing over. There we go. So I'm just going to scan through the comments and check that I haven't missed anything. I'm going back here. So, because I knew that Rebecca gave more than one question earlier on. Rebecca said, I'm a bit concerned about reading sheet music while learning to play at the same time. Rebecca said that her new harp is coming. When was it, Rebecca? On Friday. Yay! So exciting. This is just that moment in the beginning of your harp journey, and I'm so excited for you. I've been chatting so much, I've forgotten to drink my tea. So, yeah, I just want to encourage you that this is such an exciting thing, and to enjoy the process and be kind to yourself as you start learning. Some of the things might come easier than others, and that's okay because you're not racing anybody, and there's not a time limit to your learning. So yes, I think it's going to be really fun, and just be kind to yourself in this journey. And about your question with the sheet music, so I don't know how you're planning to learn, Rebecca, but I know that a lot of people, if you don't have one-to-one lessons with a teacher, it can be a real concern that how do I learn when I'm looking at a page if I don't understand the language that I'm reading? And so that's why I created the video courses that I create, because I do use sheet music as well, but I call out the name of each note really clearly because I'm making it possible for people to follow without sheet music as well, because some people are just early on and learning to read sheet music, and some people don't aspire to learn to read sheet music. They just want to learn by ear. So if you're teaching yourself, Rebecca, and then I think that would be a really good way to go. So that'd be my first tip. And my second tip is that there's an announcement coming very soon about something to help you with learning to read sheet music. So make sure you stick around and look out for that, because there'll be help on the way for those of you who want help with reading sheet music. And then Bev asked about the program that I'm going to be talking about in just a moment, Harp Beginnings, and whether you think it would be appropriate for you. So I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Please remind me, Bev, because I just want to answer a few more questions before I explain that program and who it might be good for. But let's have a look. What else is there? Okay. Mark said, when learning piano, I have problems reading both clefs at the same time. I've been considering getting a lever harp, but worried about the dual clef problem. So maybe what we have coming soon with sheet music to help you with sheet music will help with that. But Mark, what I would say is I don't think you need to be held back by your ability to read sheet music. There's more than one way to learn a new instrument. So you can learn to play harp from chords. You can learn to play by ear. You could choose not to learn to read sheet music, or you could learn it gradually as you go. Some people who have used my courses have just found themselves naturally learning to read sheet music just because they're following along as I'm teaching them note by note, and they've got the sheet music there, and then they just naturally get more used to it. But I would say that if you have a drive inside you to want to learn to play the harp, don't let your concerns about reading sheet music get in the way, because where there's a will, there's a way. You'll either learn without sheet music or you'll learn to read sheet music, because the harp is too beautiful for that problem to hold you back. And yeah, I would just encourage you that if this is something you would like to do, then do it anyway and you'll find a way. So AK Brock 1 says, I really want to learn the harp, but there are no harp teachers near me. I'm concerned about doing it online because no one is there to see if my technique is off. Any thoughts on this? So Katerina very kindly responded there as well. And she said, I learned exclusively from Christy Lynn's video lessons for the first 10 months. And when I finally found a local teacher, she was really impressed with my technique. Yeah, that's happened with quite a few people who have learned from my courses that have not had a teacher. And then when they finally are able to go to a teacher and they've been learning from online courses for a few months or even years, that the teacher cannot believe that they didn't have lessons. And that's just because if you are someone who is committed to applying what you learn, even from an online course, you can get amazing results. I don't think it's I think if you are someone who wants to learn good technique, then an online course will be able to provide you with that information if the way that it's being taught is to help you with the technique, which my courses are. But one thing we've also just added recently to our membership and also to the Harp Beginnings course, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment, is feedback from a teacher along the way, so that you can get feedback video where you send in a video of your playing and get a response, personal response video from Carrie, our other harp teacher, who then gives you feedback on your playing so that you can know what you need to work on and answer any of your questions. And then in the Harp Beginnings course, it's a 6-week program, and during those 6 weeks, you can attend progress calls on at the moment it's on a Wednesday, but you attend progress calls, and in those calls, you could actually be asking questions on, hey, I'm struggling with this, or can you give me feedback on my hand position, things like that. So there are ways to get feedback on your playing, even if you're self-taught, as it were. You could also get a lesson from a teacher every now and then, just to get input. And online lessons work really well too. So just not having a teacher in your area doesn't need to hold you back from learning to play the harp. Where there's a will, there's a way. And these days, thankfully, there's so many ways with online resources. So AK Brock says, I have 2 harps, 33 lever harp in my home in one province and a full sickle in my harps and in my apartment away at school. Is it okay to learn on a full sickle at first? There are lots of people who have done it. So yes, there are some things about learning with a small harp that are, I would say, more difficult than learning with a bigger harp, just because it supports itself and you don't have to worry about keeping it stable. Whoops. Oh, I'm dropping things here. So yes, I do personally think it's easier to learn with a floor harp. And so if you can afford to, or if you have one in that house, that is great. But there are plenty of people who have learned successfully on small harps. So it is definitely possible. And almost all my courses have small harp versions of every song. So the beginning ones, of course, you only use a small number of strings, so you can use it. You can definitely use a 26-string harpsichord or fullsicle for all those songs. And even as you get more advanced, there are small harp versions. So yes, it is very possible. Okay, so AK Brock is saying, I can read treble clef, but not bass clef. So is the harp beginnings a good place to start? Okay, I'll get to that in a moment. Oh, I like this question. King's daughter, I don't currently have a harp, but what steps can I take to learn in the meantime? I love that. You're so excited about learning that you don't even want to be held back by the fact that you don't have a harp yet. I really love that. So, what you can do is watch either on YouTube or on my website. It's kind of nicer to do it there. There's a free 14-part series called How to Play the Harp Start Here, and it's on YouTube freely, but it's nice to do it in the course format on the website on learningtheharp.com. And you could go through that course even when you don't have a harp yet, and you can start practicing. So you can practice the position of your elbows, like practicing have your elbows away from your body, and then practice that wrist position and start practicing plucking down into your palm, because we all want to kind of curl our fingers like this when we get started. So start just imagining those strings and plucking down into your palm. And just sitting there with your arms up like that. And I think that's a good thing to get started with practicing. And if you don't read sheet music yet, that might be something that you would consider starting to learn in the meantime. But yeah, I think just watching some beginner content would be a great way to get your brain starting to be ready for that. Okay. Oh, Willie Macon is saying, the question I've been wondering is, does the harp have an instrument thing that you can use besides your fingers like other string instruments do? Are you meaning like a plectrum or something like that? You know, there are some harpists who do some interesting things, just exploring the instrument. I've seen people use a bow on a harp before to get like a cello kind of sound going in the bass, or using a plectrum to make a plucking sound. I think there's also people who have used like slides and all sorts of different things on the harp. So it can be done, but it's not a normal part of harp technique. Yes, Katarina is giving some good input about if you're going to learn with a harpsichord or a small harp, there's a lot of different things that you can do to make it more stable. I don't have mine here right now. It's at home in a different building. But I have a really nice stand made by Harpsichord Harps. And for me, I tried their strap and I tried their stick, harpsichord stick, and those are fine. But for me, I really felt freedom with my harpsichord once I got the stand. So I highly recommend that. It's worth investing in a stand because it makes it a lot more stable on the floor. So Gracity Manual. I bought a cheap harp, 29 strings last year. I started learning position from your YouTube and able to play one Christmas song by heard, note by note, but note. I can't read sheet music, but I still have pain in my neck. Oh, sorry about the pain in your neck. That's not good. But I'm glad that you've been learning harp and able to play one Christmas song. That's really exciting. And who knows what else you could learn very soon. That's really great. Oh, and you said that you bought my beginner program for 6 weeks. Oh, fantastic. So hopefully if it's your harp playing that's contributing to your neck pain, it could be something to do with how you're sitting at the harp. And so I'm really excited that you've got that program to help walk you through good harp technique and to give you those foundations, and also just give you a roadmap so you know exactly what to do and what to practice each day. So I'm sure you're going to learn more than one Christmas song. That's really exciting. Okay, so yes. Okay, Francis, reading both clefs seems fine. Playing notes on the harp, fine too. Both at the same time is a big struggle. Any tips, please? Okay, so yes, I've got something coming very soon for you. So keep an eye out, because I'm going to be making a YouTube video soon to help with some tips, but I have a course on the way. So I'm actually announcing that I have a course on the way I'm kind of telling you 2 days early because we're actually only announcing on Friday that it's coming soon. But yes, that is a struggle, and I'm specifically creating something to help with that problem. And someone else was asking earlier that reading the bass clef and the treble clef, or bass clef particularly, is a struggle. And I've got some things to help you coming soon. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about who the Harp Beginnings program would be good for, because so those who have just joined since I started, I'm still happy to answer more questions, so keep the questions coming. But I wanted to tell you about this new program that I've started because the launch special is ending tomorrow, and I don't want you to miss out on the chance. If this is a good fit for you, you need to join either today or tomorrow to not miss out on this launch bonus. Because if you join this course before the end of tomorrow, that's the 17th of August, then you get $100 gift voucher to use, or gift card to use on either Harpsicle website or to use on Music Maker's website, and they're also a harp maker. So there's amazing harps and accessories on both those sites. And $100, that doesn't hurt, especially if you're wanting to buy a harpsicle stand or something like that. So if I'm going to tell you about it now, and if this sounds like it's a good fit for you, don't delay, because literally end of tomorrow that bonus is going away. So I don't want you to miss out. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more on who this might fit, because earlier I had some questions from Bev, and there was someone else who said, would this be good for me? And ask me those questions again if you feel like I haven't answered them, because I'm struggling a little bit to keep track of everything. But yes, so basically this Harp Beginnings program that I've created is using the online courses that I've already been using to help people learn for many years now, I think for about 5 years. And like we were saying, I've seen amazing results with these courses of people teaching themselves from online courses and actually learning with such good technique and playing so beautifully that when they go to a harp teacher, the harp teacher cannot believe that they haven't had a teacher, that they've been, teaching themselves from online courses. But one thing I have found is that it works really well for some people to go from course to course themselves and kind of figure out the pathway when they're getting started. But is that a cat there? Yes, the cats are very active today. But for some people, there were some elements missing where they just needed somebody to say, this is what you need to practice today, and then tomorrow you practice this, and the next day you practice that, and to just get them the results of being able to learn everything they need to know for the first 6 weeks of learning to play. And that includes, what do you practice, learning songs, and then also, these cats making noises, getting feedback along that journey and encouragement along the way, because sometimes that's the missing piece, that people just need someone alongside them saying, yes, you're doing that right, or no, and here's what you need to do. So I wanted to be able to give people all of that in one place where you could just access it all at once. So that's why I created this program, to lay it all out day by day for 6 weeks. And so I think I'm just really excited to see the people who have already started the program just getting really excited that this is something that they can grab onto and now pour themselves into and actually get the results that they've been wanting. So if you have just been kind of thinking about learning to play the harp, but you're not quite sure how to get started, this would be perfect for you. Or if you have just started with learning to play the harp, or maybe you've been trying for a little while, but you haven't really had a plan and it feels a little bit wafty and you're not really getting the results you want, maybe this would suit you as well, to just have that clear roadmap of exactly what to do, and knowing that if you do these things, you will get the results that you're looking for. And so we actually have a guarantee with this course that if by the end of the program, the 6-week program, you don't feel like you had everything you need to learn to play the harp successfully, then we have a money back guarantee. So that's how confident I am that if you follow what we're telling you to do in this program, you will get the results. And so it's really exciting. So it's based on spending 20 minutes a day, and just that. and practicing just a little bit every day. We also have a practice guide on how to practice for busy people, because I know some of you are busy and you're wondering how you're going to fit learning to play the harp in your life. And it doesn't require more than 20 minutes a day. And I think if it's something we really want to do, we can all find 20 minutes, even if it just means sleeping for a little bit, like 20 minutes less in the morning. I think if you really want to, you can do it. So I want to see if there's any more questions around this. Let's see. Oh, and I did want to say that if you don't read sheet music, this course is specifically designed for you, that you don't need to be able to read sheet music for this course. So I do have something coming soon that is an option for those of you who want to learn to read sheet music, but you don't need to for this course. You can just follow me telling you in videos exactly what to play. I call out the notes and I show it to you on the harp, so you can just follow along with me. You don't need to be able to read sheet music. Yeah, let's just see. What if you cannot start as soon as you purchase the course? I'm on vacation now. Can I start in a few weeks instead? Yes, you can. So what you can do is purchase the course and then put it on pause and only start your 6 weeks when you're ready for it. So you have access to the course, this program, for a full year. And you can pause at the beginning. Like some people don't have a harp yet, so they're waiting for their harp to arrive. So you can pause the program and start it only when your harp arrives or when you get back from your vacation. And yes, you can buy it now and start in the beginning of September. Excuse me. Yes, so I don't know if I put in the description box whether I actually put a link to the course. So someone's saying, where can I buy it? I'm like, that's a great question. I don't think I put the link there for you. So I'm just going to post it now in the chat. And if someone else asks, maybe one of you will copy and paste it again, because you can just go through to harpbeginnings.com. And then you will find all the information there, and make sure you do it before the end of tomorrow to get that $100 gift card, because I don't want you to miss that. So that's the 17th of August, by the end of the 17th of August. Okay, so don't miss out on that if you're considering the program, because I really want to give that to you. All right, so let's see if there's any other questions. Where do I find the voucher? So you'll see the instructions there on as soon as you go onto that page and you go through the process, you'll get the information sent to you about the voucher. All right. Musical Marion says, my harp practice has been on pause for quite some time. It happens. It happens to the best of us. You know, we all go through phases in life where there's life things that happen. And then sometimes the harp is not the number one priority, and that's okay. But the great news is that it's never too late to go back to playing the harp. The harp is not upset with you that you haven't been playing. It's just waiting with open arms to welcome you back whenever you are able to. So never feel guilty for not playing your harp. Just enjoy the moments that you can spend with your harp so that you can keep it a guilt-free and positive space. That's what I believe about learning to play the harp. There's no should, or it's not a terrible thing that you've been doing if you haven't been able to play for a while. Just when you do get the chance, it can be a joyful return and you can just enjoy it without any guilty feelings. Oh, Diane says, harp has been bringing me so much joy working on What a Wonderful World, challenging but beautiful. That's wonderful. And oh, Marion said, I'm frightened to check if any strings broke. Oh, it's happened to me where I take the cover off my harp and oh no, broken strings. But strings can be replaced and it's a good thing to practice putting new strings on. So you can do it, Marion. Just have a peep. Just have a peep and see, are there strings that need replacing? And it's okay if they do. Do you think levers are necessary or needed in early training? I personally felt the bass harpsichord was good enough to learn in C and left out the levered harpsichord, not realizing I chose an unupgradable model. So there's good news about that. I'm sorry for you that yours wasn't upgradable, but good thing is harpsichords are easy to resell. So you should be able to find a home for it if you want to resell it. But they've changed that now, that when you buy a harpsichord that doesn't have levers, it still has the harmonic curve that allows you to add levers later, because I think it's because they got CNC machines in their factory. And so now they just make all the harpsichords the right shape. that you can add levers later if you want to. So if you are someone who's wondering what you should buy and you actually only have money for the basic harpsichle without levers right now, I say just go for it. Don't wait a year to save up money for the full version. Just go for it with the harpsichle and add the levers later, and it might be a fun project for you. Okay. Yes. So I wonder if there's any more questions about whether I answered all the questions of people who were saying, is the Harp Beginnings program for me? Because I want to give you what you need to be able to make that decision before the launch bonus ends. So if you have any more questions about that and any more questions about starting with the harp, I'm happy to demonstrate things to you. Oh, lovely Resida said, I just got my harp yesterday. Yay, congratulations. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so happy to hear of people who are just getting started. I hope it's a wonderful journey for you, full of lots of joy. And yeah, just keep that space with you and your harp a happy and peaceful space. Don't be hard on yourself if some things are tricky in your journey. Just be kind to yourself, enjoy the journey, and it's not a race. Have fun with it. That's wonderful. Oh, you said the link is incorrect. My apologies. Did it not work? No, it's not working. Okay, let's check that. You were right. This is why I should send the link beforehand, right? Here we go. Let's try that one. Mia, hi. I see you in the chat there. That's so exciting. Nice to hear from you again, old friend. All right. How often should harps be serviced? Well, most harps probably need to be serviced more often than they are. They say that you should service it like once every. It depends on how much you're playing your harp. If you're a professional, some of them get their harp serviced like every 6 months. I normally get my harp serviced every 2 years. But if you have a lever harp, you can service it yourself. So I haven't learned to do that yet because I was in the habit of taking my harp to get serviced by a professional. But I now have a little kit sent to me by music makers, and I'm going to figure out how to service the harp myself because just the basic things like regulating it to make sure that your lever is a perfect semitone so that it's still in tune when you put your levers up. Those kind of little things you can actually do yourself, and I'm about to learn how to do it. But I would say probably it's whenever you can hear that it needs it. So when you tune your harp with your tuner, I use my phone. Sometimes I can see that I've tuned my harp and then I put the lever up, and if I use the tuner, I can see it's not in tune anymore, which means that it's not a perfect half step between the lever down and then the lever up, that perfect half step. And then that means it needs to be serviced. So probably every 2 years is good to go by, but I know a lot of people don't do it that often, and it's not going to hurt your harp really if it doesn't get serviced. It's just not going to sound so nice. The same with replacing strings. It's not going to hurt your harp, but it sounds nice if you can replace your bass strings every now and then. Wow, another one. This is Mirage. I just got a secondhand harp last week. I have no idea if it's a good one. It's a Gothic EMS 29-string lap harp, I believe. I found it in my local Facebook marketplace. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm really excited for you to get started. And I need to say thank you to I just see daughter of TMH, who gave me a $10 thank you. Well, that's very lovely. I didn't expect that. Thank you so much. I guess that's like a super chat or something. So thank you for showing your appreciation. I really appreciate it. But I'm mostly just glad to be hanging out with you all, and I'm here to answer your questions. So if you have any more questions, please, if I miss your question, ask it again because I do want to help you. So what was I in the middle of saying? Yes, about the 29-string EMS. So those harps, as far as I know, I don't think they're the highest quality harps, but that probably just more speaks to how long the harp will last and how beautiful the sound is. You can still learn on it. So if you're wanting to learn to play the harp, any harp is better than no harp, and particularly if it has enough strings that you can play beginner pieces. And all small harp arrangements are at least playable on 26 strings, many of them 22 strings. So a 29 string harp, I think that's a great way to get started, and you'll be able to learn on it, and that's fantastic. You might find that when you're ready to upgrade to another harp, that you'll appreciate a better sound with a higher quality harp. And sometimes those kind of harps don't last as long because of the way they're made, but you can play it and you can learn, and that's really exciting. All right. Is there a course that comes after the 6-week beginner course? So after the 6-week beginner course, you would normally go into, well, there's the option to go into our membership and just get a credit every month to learn a new course of your choice. So there isn't a specific pathway after that point, but it's a really good time to go into membership because everybody learns at a different pace, and so you can just choose what level you need next based on how comfortable you're feeling with the level you're at that point. So then you could go up to a piece one level higher for the next month, or you could wait around a little bit and keep on learning the piece you're learning and use your credit to buy a workshop in the meantime. So people really enjoy going into membership after that. And then we've also got the, for those who don't read sheet music, we've got the sheet music course coming soon. So that would also be a great place to go to for those who aren't very fluent with reading sheet music. You could go to the sheet music course afterwards. That's so sweet, Mia. I see that you're trying to say how many harps do I currently have, and it's so sweet because the first time you're using your dictation software, and the first time it said how many hearts do you own currently, and the second time it said how many hugs do you currently own. And I really love those two mistakes because having harps, it's like fills your heart, and it's like hugs. I love that. That's awesome. But I know what you mean. You're asking me how many harps I have. So I have this one, my Jolie Hybrid, which is the newest one I'm very excited about. Let me just play, since I haven't played yet, let me play you a nice arpeggio. So it's got quite an open ringing sound with nylon strings. And then I have my Ogden, which is the same, or 34 strings, one string more than this, and that has gut strings and more higher tension, quite a different sound. And then I have my harpsicle. Actually, it's a special edition full sickle, and I love that because it's so portable. And then I have my big pedal harp, the Lion & Healy Style 2000. So I am blessed to have 4 harps, and some of them I wouldn't have that many harps if I was just doing this as a hobby, because I've had people contribute towards my buying harps. I've had harp makers give me a harp because they know that if I put it on my YouTube channel, people will get excited to buy that harp themselves. So I really have been blessed, and I haven't just bought all the harps myself. So I'm very thankful to have the harps that I have. I don't have a name for it, Bev. That's a good question. I tend to just call my harps by their model name. So I'll call it the Jolie, the Ogden, the harpsicle. I think it's wonderful when people name their harps, but for some reason, I just naming my harp doesn't really stick with me. So yeah, Musical Marion is asking, how is Johnny? Johnny is in the background over there. Do you want to come say hi?
I can come say hi.
He's like, I'm not expecting to be on camera, but you should come say hi.
Should I come say hi?
Yeah, Johnny is doing well. His wrist is healed, fully healed. Ooh. Hey, there he is.
Hello, everyone.
How is Johnny?
Last time I checked, Johnny was doing quite well. Yeah. Pretty well, yeah. Playing a lot of guitar, writing music, recording music. Very excited about that.
Teaching.
Teaching. Yeah.
Johnny's doing well.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
All righty then.
They're saying hi.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me check if I've missed any of the questions. I like using a music stand. You only find them at discount secondhand stores. I only paid $10 for a nice steel adjustable one. That's wonderful. I don't know anything about lyres, so I'm sorry, I can't answer your question, Rahiru. I don't know why your lyre is not staying in tune. I'm sorry about that.
Is a lyre like a guitar?
No, lyre's a whole different thing.
Is it similar to a guitar, an old school style guitar?
No, I think you're thinking of a lute. A lute is similar to a guitar, but a lyre is quite different. It's more similar to a harp, but you play it with different technique. Okay, Carlos says, I found a new hobby. Thank you for everything you do. I found a new hobby. I just heard about the harp beginnings, but I don't have a harp yet. Well, if you think this will be for you, this harp beginnings 6-week program, then it doesn't matter if you don't have a harp yet, because you can put it on pause and not start your 6 weeks yet. But if you think you're going to buy it today or tomorrow, because you can get that $100 gift card to Harpsicle or Music Maker's website. It's a partnership we're doing with them. So I can't continue offering that after tomorrow. So if you think you might want that once your harp arrives, rather buy the program now and then just ask us to keep it on pause. And then your 6 weeks can start a bit later. But either way, you do have access to that program for a full year. The 6 weeks really only applies to during those 6 weeks. That's when you get like a layout of exactly what to do each day. So it's nice to just have that motivation to follow along for 6 weeks. And also because only for the first 6 weeks, you get the progress calls with Carrie, the other harp teacher at Learning the Harp. And sometimes I'm actually doing the progress calls when Carrie's filming courses. So you'll see me probably as well. And that's where you just get to ask your questions, to show how you've been playing, to get some feedback and that kind of thing. So I think it really is worth just putting it on pause if you can't start right away, and then only starting your 6 weeks when you're ready, so that you can really pour yourself into it, attend the progress calls, get your feedback and all of that. So I think that'll be great. So let's see. Is this beginning 6-week class? Oh, Connie, Connie said, love your guitar and the duets with your wife. So that's sweet. Is the beginning 6 week? This is a different Connie Ennis. It's a beginning 6-week class just for people that are learning the harp. I've been playing the harp and actually using your courses for at least a year. So that's an interesting question, Connie, because some people have been saying to me, I've been playing for a while. We actually have someone who joined the program who's been learning harp for a year. And we said to her, well, if you're a little further along in your playing, perhaps this is not the right course for you. But she said to us, well, she's had a long break from her playing. She hasn't found the motivation to really see the progress that she's wanting, and she just wants to start again from the beginning, get all her technique and everything she needs, and learn the beginner pieces right from the beginning again. And so then we said, sure, you're very welcome to join Harp Beginnings, but it was intended to start you right from the beginning. So if you feel that will be useful to you, to have that accountability, to have that 6-week program to just provide the structure and to kind of guide you along, hold your hand, then you are very welcome to do the course. But it is starting with early beginner pieces. It's starting right from the very beginning. So if that's not right for you, then it's probably not the right fit. But if you're wanting to start again from the beginning, then I think this would be a great way to do it. Is the sheet music a PDF? I have low vision and need to take screenshots of one measure to be able to see it. So Eleanor, yes, the sheet music is PDFs and you can print them out. So that's an option. You could print out the PDFs, or you could take screenshots. And yeah, that'll be great. I see what you're saying now. You want to take screenshots. Yes, it's a PDF. Sorry, I didn't answer your question properly. The gift card is valid until, oh yes, Megan, my sister Megan is popping in. She says the gift card is valid until the end of September. Yes, so you have to sign up before the end of tomorrow to get the gift card, but then you will have it and it will be valid until the end of September. So you don't have to immediately buy something on Harpsicle or Music Maker's website to make the most of that gift card. You do have a little bit of time to make your decision on what you want to get from there. Oh, Carlos says, thank you so much. I'm excited to learn. Yay, I'm so excited for you too. This is the beginning of a wonderful adventure, Carlos. Oh, Quillsong says, I'm finishing the green sleeves video. How's it going? You having fun learning green sleeves? And Kim says, your new course sounds wonderful. Everyone learns so differently. I'm sure this will be really helpful for folks. Thank you for helping me start my harp journey. It has truly changed my life. Yay! It changed my life too. Well, there's the other cat. You've now seen all three of them. This is Jasper. And he's my personal. Oh, he's my favorite. You know what, Jasper, when I get ready to go home, because this is where I work, he's actually the only one of the three cats that is my personal cat, but he lives here where we work. And so when I go home, I couldn't take Jasper to live with me and Johnny at our home because there's so many cats there that fight with each other, and it's not a big garden space like we're used to. They're used to being outside. You know, we have outside cats, or we allow them to go outside here in South Africa, and he just loves the space here and everything. So we don't take him home. So when I go outside to go to my car, then what he does is he comes and he wants me to take him for a walk. Can you believe it? I know some other people have cats who go for walks, but I've never seen it before. So then I go on a little walk around the block. There's not a lot of cars in our area, and it's just a lovely little walk just around the circle. And Jasper follows along behind me, and he just loves going for a walk with me. So okay, so let's answer this question. I was wondering if it would be a good fit for me to join the membership. I've been playing the harp for a while, but I'm looking to get better at playing. How does the credit work? Okay, so maybe this is something I need to clarify, the difference between harp beginnings and membership. So those are for, two different groups of people, I suppose. You can start on the membership even if you're at the beginning of your harp journey, but I think the 6-week program Harp Beginnings is a really good way to just get a boost in the beginning and really get that motivation. So that's a 6-week program that's really it gives you a lot more input. So you learn 3 songs in that time, and you learn to play from chords. You get the how to practice even with a busy schedule, and you get like a guide on what harp to buy if you haven't bought a harp yet, so you can start with that. And yeah, it really guides you through everything you need to do each day, what to practice, what to spend extra time on, all of that stuff. The membership is when you pay a monthly amount, and it's an ongoing thing, so you can join or leave whenever, but it's a monthly commitment, like a long-term monthly thing, month by month thing. Sure, I'm finding like many different ways to say that same thing. But what that membership gives you is a credit each month, and you can either purchase a course to learn a song. So we have songs of all different levels, and you can learn the song with note by note guidance on how to play the song. You can purchase sheet music to go with it if you'd like to, and you get input on all the technique and how to practice that song. So it's a really good way to learn songs when you're teaching yourself, and making sure that you're actually focusing on the right things so that you'll get results in learning with good technique, being able to play the song fluently afterwards, and just keeping motivated and encouraged as you learn from these courses. But then you can also use your credit on workshops. So we have live workshops that happen, and you can also purchase a replay just to watch the workshop afterwards. So those are the 2 things currently that you can use your membership credits for. So you can buy a course to learn a song, or you can buy a workshop or attend a live workshop with those credits. Hopefully that answers your question. And then you also get access to our community, which is kind of like a harp Facebook, where you're a part of a group of people who are all learning together, and you can encourage each other. You get to make like a little profile, just like a Facebook profile. And put a photo of yourself if you want to, and just share your love of harp with people in our online community. So it's a whole thing. And then you also get monthly meetups where we meet up with everybody who's a part of our membership. It's a Harp Grove membership, that's what we call it. And so then every other month we do a play along where we all play together, and the alternate month we do discussion groups where we get to meet other people and we break up into small groups and just chat about harp related topics. So it's just a really good way to have community around you while you're learning to play. And then you automatically get a new credit each month, and you can learn a new song, or you can get a workshop. So yeah, let me just catch up with the chat. Oh, Connie's saying Connie Ennis saying, thank you. I love you and Carrie's instruction. Very easy to follow. That's good news. I'm so glad. And okay, a question. Yay. Alessio says, is there a right height of the lever harp? I see many people keeping the harp much lower than their chins and others much higher than their heads. Yes, that is a wonderful question. So I don't measure the height of the harp by where it is compared to your head. And that's for a number of reasons. Everybody's body is different, depending on how long your torso is or even how big your head is. It can look really different for different people, and also depending on the harp you're using. So bigger harps tend to go up higher. Smaller harps, they just don't go up as high. So I don't think it's right to describe the height of the harp in comparison to your head. I choose the height of the harp according to what the position that it puts my arms in to be able to play. So let me go back a little bit and just show you. So and there's a little bit of leeway for you to also make decisions on what you would like. So I used to have my harps higher compared to my body than I do now. It's a typical classical thing to have the harp a little so to have your chair a little bit lower compared to the harp, and the harp will be a bit higher. But because we need to have our elbows away from our body to get our forearm into the right position so that our wrist can be in neutral or, kind of flat, slight valley, not a hill. So I need my elbows to be away. Otherwise, if my elbows are down, I kind of end up with a hill, or I end up plucking like this, which is not right. So I have to put my elbows out. If I'm going to get my forearm into that good position and my harp is higher, because we need to play in the center of our strings to get a good tone. So if my harp was higher, I would need to raise my elbows higher to be able to pluck in the center of my strings and get my arm in a good position. And I found that to be unnecessary and too tiring on my shoulders. And I think that's in my opinion, I think that's when people start to get neck and shoulder and back pain. I think sometimes that's related to the harp being very high and needing to raise your elbows higher than I think is necessary. So you'll see a lot of folk harpists, Celtic harpists with their harp a little bit lower, which means that you don't need to have your elbows as high. You can have your elbows a little lower, but your arm is still in a good position so that you can pluck the strings down into the palm, and your wrist is set up in a good position to support your hand. So it's a little bit of a trial and error thing because everybody's body is different. So that's when it can really be helpful to have feedback from a teacher, or send in a feedback video on our website and get feedback from Carrie on your position and whether the teacher feels that maybe adjusting the height of your body compared to your harp would help. You can either adjust the height of your chair, or you can adjust the height of the harp by different legs, or putting it on a box, or things like that. So it is a little bit of a process, and it's not something that we immediately just get right straight away. And I've even changed my taste of how high my harp is over time. But generally, I found that the mistake people make the most often is to have their harp too high. So let me just bring my chair down. Oh, it doesn't go any lower. Okay, let me just imagine I'm going to put my harp up here. So don't worry about where it is compared to my head. Just look at where the middle of the strings are. Okay, so with my harp this height, I have to raise my arms up like this. Or what people tend to do more often is they don't raise their arms, and then you can see how my forearm is quite vertical now, and then you end up curling your fingers to try and get a sound out of the strings, because otherwise, if I'm plucking my fingers down into my palm, I don't get a good sound. Okay, so it tends to head us in the direction of not plucking our fingers in a way that's going to be healthy for us and get a good sound of the harp. So that's why instead of telling you to raise your elbows up here to get a good hand position, I instead tell you to make your harp a little lower so you can be comfortable and not have to have such good stamina and be in a healthy position for getting your hand position good. And your arm can just support you down a little bit lower. But there are teachers who have different opinions on that. So there's not a definite right and a definite wrong, but the concept is there that we want to have our hands in a good position. And that's really how we decide on the height of our harp, in my opinion. Okay, so Carlos is saying, I've seen your videos on buying a harp, but for a beginner, what is a good starting harp? So there are a lot of different options when you're going for a first beginner harp. It depends on how much you're willing to invest. It's really great if you can get a floor harp that's going to support its own weight and just be very stable for you to learn on. And if you can't, then there's smaller harps are also an option. And if you want to hear just like 3 options of what harp you can buy, that's actually included in the Harp Beginnings program. We just simplified it for you and just gave you 3 simple options. But otherwise, I have the what harp you said. I've seen your video on buying a harp. Yeah, but I think it's really great if you can go for something with 33, 34 strings, if that's in your budget. It's really wonderful if you can. Otherwise, if you're going to go for a small harp, it's great if you can go for something with 26 strings, or at the very least 22 strings C to C. I don't recommend getting a G to G 22 string harp, because then you don't get this low C. And that low C is included in a lot of small harp sheet music. So you really want to get that low C. That's a C below middle C. Okay, I'm just going to check if there's any more questions. Okay, will you post the video after the live? Yes, you can rewatch this later, definitely. Musical Marion saying mine is a Ravenna 34 dusty strings. That's a great harp too. And Megan saying you forgot to mention the weekly progress calls during the 6 weeks of Harp Beginnings. Yes, so every week in your 6 weeks in the beginning there, you get a progress call with Carrie, our other harp teacher at Learning the Harp, and every now and then it will be me. And that's just the chance to ask questions, get feedback on your playing and everything like that. So that's a really great plus in that program. I did mention it at other points in the live, but just not when I was in that particular moment, Megan. So Mia's asking, are you a Salzedo teacher or do you teach French technique? What is your favorite technique to teach in general? So I'm not really, those are kind of 2 big schools of thought with harp technique in the classical world. And, the technique I teach is a bit of a mix. So I'm not really like a Salzedo teacher or a French technique teacher. My harp teacher was probably closer to French technique, but she wouldn't have necessarily labeled it that way. I've also learned some things from like Celtic harp technique, and it's a bit of a mix. I just like to do what will keep people healthy and getting the results that they need. I don't like to be too strict on there's one way to do things. I more like to get people to understand the concepts behind why and the results on what it will do for your harp playing, to make sure that we're relaxed while we're playing so we don't cause injury in the long run, like muscle strain and things like that. And yeah, so floating off the strings, being in a healthy position for our body, that kind of thing. To me, that's more important than, some of the very specific things that are communicated in some of that classical technique. So that's where I stand on that. But I'm not anti either of those, I would say. Okay, let's see. There's lots of people talking about different types of harps, which is cool. Yeah, Caroline's talking about if you like the sound of gut strings, but you're a vegan, then you could try silk gut strings. That's really cool. I've tried playing on them, and it does sound different to gut strings, but it's really beautiful. And okay, just checking. No more experience. Do I ever still play the violin? Someone's been listening to me telling my story, so I can't remember the last time I played the violin. We've still got a violin in the cupboard, and I just couldn't get rid of it because, I felt like, oh, maybe one day I'll be recording a song and I just wish there was a little bit of violin in it, because when I have picked up the violin again, I know what to do. I could play the violin, not super well, not super confidently, and it would take a little bit of practice. But yeah, I haven't gone as far as selling my violin, but I haven't played in years. So yeah, I'm not really a violinist anymore, but I do have a violin, and I can probably play. I could play better than somebody who has no clue how to play violin. Okay, what causes strings to break on their own? Strings can age. So it's affected by changing temperatures, humidity, that kind of thing. But also strings just get old and they break, and it's normal. Gut strings break more often. Nylon strings are less likely to break. But harp strings do break, and it's not a big disaster. We just have to get comfortable with changing strings. I saw somebody asked if I could make videos step by step on changing strings, and that is a great idea. I need to do that now. I have a video where I showed myself changing a harp string, and I was just like very vulnerable about how sometimes I still get anxious changing a harp string. And so I shared that process with you. So if you want to watch me being anxious about changing harp strings, there is a video on that. But I do think I need to make a video just step by step guiding you through it, so that I can be with you on that journey when you're changing a harp string. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, Katerina says, you can't get rid of your violin. That would be sacrilege. Katerina, we need to be in the same place at the same time at some point, and you can help me with my violin playing, and maybe you'll just you'll figure out the little missing link that I needed, so that I can just enjoy playing the violin, because I think it was actually just being uncomfortable and maybe a bit stressed that made it not that much fun for me. But honestly, I just think the violin is so much harder than the harp. It just feels like so much effort. Okay, there's a good question here. Oh, Simonetta says, hi from Milano, Italy. Hi. So glad to have you here. And Marilyn says, any tips on how to structure daily practice for a newbie? Okay, so some people are more structured than others. So I know some people like to, have a warm up and then an exercise and then a practice something new and then practice something you already know and all of these things. And I think when you first get started, that is not necessary. You can just practice your brand new beginning piece, and those brand new beginners pieces are designed to help you with your harp technique. So I think 15, 20 minutes practice would be great, and just using healthy practice strategies to spend those 20 minutes working on whatever piece you're learning in the very beginning. So if you want that kind of guidance on exactly what to practice, that's part of what we have in our Harp Beginnings course, that it tells you each day for 6 weeks what to focus practicing on. And we recommend 20 minutes each day. And it's just Monday to Friday, 5 days in the week. And you can do whatever you want on the weekend, rest or play something else for fun. But yeah, we recommend practicing shorter sessions, like 20 minutes daily if you can. 5 days a week is fine, rather than trying to catch up all at once on the weekend, because then you don't build the muscle memory and the habit. It's not quite the same. So yeah, and then we have a practice guide in the Harp Beginnings program as well. That's called How to Practice for Busy People. And that specifically lays out for you how to practice when you don't have a lot of time to practice. What are the things that are going to make your practice really effective? And so that you can actually get more progress in 20 minutes than you can get in 2 hours, just kind of noodling around and without real strategy to your practice. So maybe that would be helpful for you. But also when you use the courses, the way that I've designed my online courses that teach you a song, and those are included in the Harp Beginnings program, or you can just get them one by one in our membership. Those courses are designed to actually take you through learning a piece with good practice strategy kind of designed into it. So that we've actually found that people learning from my online courses, they learn good practice strategy just from taking the courses. And then they found that when they learn other pieces from sheet music without a course, they start to actually apply those same principles of like looping a small section over and over. Like some people call it chunking, when you take a small section and you just make a very small section and you play it slowly and you do it over and over and over, just drumming in to get it right, rather than trying to play the whole piece from the beginning to the end. So things like that, and also practicing placing and not just practicing the notes of the melody. What else? So yeah, doing little practice spots, making sure that you focus on the parts that you're slipping up, where you're slipping up, but spend more time focusing on those and less time just playing the piece from beginning to end with lots of pauses and mistakes and things like that. It's better to do small sections and get it right slowly, and then gradually build it up. So yeah, let's see. Katerina says, how I change harp strings. Step 1, panic. Step 2, yeah, I love it. That's it's a very common feeling. You know, I still get sad when I have to change a harp string, and then I surprise myself in finding out that, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. But yes, so let's see. Oh, just so many nice comments. Musical Marion saying, I saw some old videos of you singing a cappella, Christylyn. Yep, if you go digging back in the depths of my YouTube channel, if you go to my channel and click on videos, and then you click on, what is it called, where you click to see the order that videos were released, but you make it old to new instead of new to old, you change the order. If you do that, you can see some videos of me from more than 10 years ago, mostly singing. And then along the way, at some point, I eventually started learning to play the harp. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and some of them I privated. So I think my early videos of learning to play the harp are actually privated. Maybe I should release those again at some point. Yes, I'm just catching up on the comments here. Max says, when I do a course, I find myself trying to perfect a section before moving on. I find that just knowing where to put my eyes, yes, consciously knowing where to put your eyes and when to put them there is a big factor in fluency. It's a big thing in playing the harp, more than other instruments. I find that you have to think ahead, place ahead, and also put your eyes where you want to go next. Because if you're playing down here and now you need to go up there, you need to put your eyes there before you put your fingers there. Otherwise, you're going to be too late. So I often encourage students to consciously put your eyes there. It sounds kind of funny. Like, I don't mean like, put them there. But the same with lever changes. Put your eyes on the lever before your hand is even free to go and move it there. And you'll find that it's so much easier. So I'm glad you're finding that helpful. Okay, so I see Mirage is asking, will you play us a song? And I think probably it's a good time for me to come towards an ending. And maybe I should play a song to end off. And yeah, I'm just checking if there's any beginner questions that I haven't answered. Yeah. So it's been so wonderful to be here with you. And just a reminder that I don't want you to miss out if you're thinking about getting the Harp Beginnings program, if you think it might work for you. Check the link in the description box, or let's see if I can still paste it in here. Don't miss out on the launch bonus. It's ending tomorrow. So make sure you sign up before the end of the 17th of August, and you can get that $100 gift card to Harpsicle or Music Maker's websites. And they have some good beginner harps there. You know, you can get started on a Harpsicle. You can get started on one of the harps from Music Makers if you want a floor harp. So, and then there's also lots of harp accessories there. So I really don't want you to miss that. If this program is going to be right for you, don't wait a month and then get sad that you don't get a gift card. Rather do it before tomorrow. Do we have any song requests? Maybe I should be playing a beginner song. What do you think about that? Just to inspire you. So one of the songs in Harp Beginnings course is one of our most popular beginner songs, Mahogany Moon, because everybody loves that this song is so easy to learn, and then you sound so beautiful, even though you're just starting your harp journey. So I think I'm going to play that for you. I know I asked for song requests, and then I kind of canceled that and just made my own decision. But yeah, I love Mahogany Moon. So the story behind the song is, do you remember the red moon? What was it called? The lunar eclipse, I think, when the moon went red. Do you remember, Johnny? What is it called? Blood moon. I can't remember what it was called. And I think that was in 2018. And my older sister Megan and I went to the waterfront here in Cape Town, and we looked through a big telescope that was open to the public. We had to stand in a long line waiting for our turn to look in the telescope. And I was just struck by the beauty of creation and how this moon going red was just so mind-blowing to me. And so I just felt like it was so like otherworldly. Like, it just made me feel like, oh, there's something bigger than me, and it's so wonderful and majestic. And so I wrote Mahogany Moon to try and capture the sound of that beautiful red moon back in 2018. So maybe you can imagine that as I play. And if this is inspiring you, this piece is not that difficult to learn. You could learn this as your first or second piece ever. So if you're thinking about learning to play the harp, just imagine yourself playing this in a couple of weeks. Okay. Did you love the atmosphere? Oh, that one's so much fun to play. I feel like it changes the atmosphere in the room. What do you think, Johnny?
It's very relaxing.
Are you feeling relaxed? Are you falling asleep behind the camera there?
Not falling asleep. It kind of like makes you think about what you said and how like awestruck one can be.
Yeah. Feeling awestruck by just imagining that beautiful red moon that we had back in 2018. Okay, so I think that's it for this time, and I really hope to see you again soon. I want to do another live stream before too long because I love hanging out with you like this. And yeah, thank you for joining me. And if you have any more questions, you can always ask. Pop us an email if you have any questions about harp beginnings or any of that. Here's the link again if you want to go and check it out and just see if that's a good fit for you. And there's lots of different ways to learn to play the harp, but this is a way that's really working for people. Oh, I forgot to mention, there was two nice quotes from people who have been in the harp beginnings course already for a couple of weeks. Deborah Sokolov said, I've been doing this harp beginnings course for just about 2 weeks. I'm still a little shaky with playing the first song, but it seems like every day it gets smoother and easier. While I know that I have a very long way to go before I can really say that I play the harp, these lessons are so encouraging that I keep coming back and trying again, even though I make a lot of mistakes. Thank you, Christylyn and Carrie. And then there's another Deborah. So we seem to have a gathering of Deborahs. So if your name is Deborah, maybe you need to join us. So this is Deborah Radke. She said, I've had fun working on this. Sometimes it's pretty smooth, and other times it's stop and go. She's talking about the first song in the course. But I'm beginning to see some improvement. Thanks for all your help as I go. So it's just really exciting to be able to help you in those beginning stages, the excitement of those beginning stages of your harp journey. So that's why I made this course, just to make that clear and easy for you so that you don't have to worry about what to learn and when to learn and what to practice and how much to practice. It's all laid out for you. And that's why I put it all together there in one place, just to make that beginning process smooth and easy and as stress-free as possible so that we can be with you on this journey and get you the results that you're looking for so that you can learn to play the harp successfully, because that's what we're here for. Okay, so I think that's it. Bye, Katerina. I see you're saying good night to everybody in my time zone. Yes, good night from me. And I will see you all again soon, hopefully. Thanks for joining. Bye.